How's it going, everybody? I'm International Master Daniel Rensch here today for Chess.com. This is our YouTube channel, and wanted to give everybody an update on what's happening in the world of chess this month and over the last few weeks. Sorry it's been a while, but there's been a lot of exciting things going on, a lot of exciting things happening today. The U.S. Chess Championship started today at the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis. We had some really exciting games. First round with the top seed Hikaru Nakamura playing the Evans Gambit, taking down the young Robert Hess. We had an 11-move victory, which you rarely see at that level, with Grandmaster Alex Onoshuk taking down Shapunsky, which was, I think, a shocker for everybody, but there was a lot of excitement all around. A lot of the games are actually still being played right now, so I just wanted to draw everybody's attention to that. You can check it out, uschesschamps.com. They've got a great live stream channel and a broadcast of the rounds and games, as well as post-game interviews, so encourage everybody to check that out. From our perspective over on Chess TV, we are going to be covering the Anand Gelfand World Championship match live, which starts this Friday, so make sure you check that out. Round 1 is going to be covered by Grandmaster Dejan Boykov along with FIDE Master Kostya Kavutsky, and look for a lot of our regular Chess.com TV authors and hosts to get involved in covering the Anand Gelfand World Championship match. We will not be covering the U.S. Chess Championship because we want to encourage everybody to check out their channel because they do such a great job. Other than the Anand Gelfand World Championship match in May and the U.S. Chess Championships, one of the big things coming up is actually Chess.com's trip to the Elementary Nationals in Nashville, which starts just this weekend. You see the ChessKid.com banner behind me and International Master David Pruess, as well as David Petty, a.k.a. the Pink Hamster on ChessKid.com, will be over there. So I know there's a lot of kids out there who watch our YouTube channel, so that's for you guys. If you're in Nashville, come up and introduce yourself and say, hey, that should be a lot of fun. Some other exciting things that happened. Before we get to a quick summary and showing you my favorite game from the Kramnik Aronian match that took place in Zurich, wanted to call everybody's attention to something interesting that happened in Chicago when the fearless leader of the free chess world, Kirsan, FIDE president, you see a picture of him right here, took a trip to Chicago and hung out with Sean Penn, and there's a picture, and Bill Clinton, and there's a picture among other characters, including the Dalai Lama. But one of the big things that happened was it inspired an open letter from Bill Hall, the executive director of the USCF, about rumors that FIDE might be trying to start their own U.S. championship, not necessarily condoned or in conjunction with the USCF. So that should be interesting. Everyone should keep their eyes and ears out, watching out for that, and see what kind of controversy is going to be stirred up there between FIDE and the USCF. I think I'm not trying to make fun or bring light to it, but it's interesting and certainly something that I think is happening, rumblings in the background. So what I want to do right now is say that the Kramnik Aronian match ended in a tie. It was exciting. We covered every round over on Chess.com TV. If you missed it, that's a you problem, not a me problem. So if you missed it, you can go check it out, obviously, in our Chess TV channel, and you should if you want to learn something. But I'm going to show you my favorite game, which was Kramnik's only win of the match when he took down Aronian on the white side of a 4-night Scotch game, not just because I played that opening myself, but because it was highly interesting, reached a very complex, unbalanced material position with a queen versus a few pieces, and Kramnik's technique was pretty amazing and just really showed a lot of practical poise, and I thought that there were some really instructive moments, and so I'm going to bring that game to you guys right now. Let's check it out. Now, as I said, this game started out with a 4-night Scotch. The mainline position that was reached could technically be transposed via the mainline Scotch, but that would take some obscure moves by both players. So rather, we saw knight c3, knight f6, now d4, and after ed, knight d4, the most common move here for black, bishop to b4, was not employed by Aronian. You might see variations after bishop b4, knight takes c6, b takes c6, bishop d3, transpose into positions that, like I said, could be reached via the mainline Scotch. But as this is not an opening theory lecture, as much as I'd like to talk about those positions since I play them myself, we will keep it focused on Aronian's choice, bishop c5, which is an aggressive one, though not as common as bishop b4. After bishop e3, there's an immediate threat of discovery. Knight takes c6, followed by the win of the piece on c5. Because of the tempo the knight gains on the queen. Bishop b6 was played to protect the bishop, and after queen to d2, which is really the first move that was played that's really not that common, where Kramnik started to steer the game in a really aggressive direction. He's preparing to castle long and potentially develop into a structure that really supports pawn storm attacking chances on the king side. So after castles long, rook e8, f3, we were in maybe arguably the first critical moment of the game. There had only been a few games in this position in the database up to this point, so you can essentially consider it a position where both players were either on their own in terms of preparation or on their own completely in figuring it out. And Aronian decided he didn't want to sit here with sort of a slower move like d6 and face the onslaught of a potential pawn storm, a very aggressive and natural attacking structure here for white to develop attacking chances on the king side. Aronian didn't want that and decided to lash out. He played d5. And after e takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop to g5, he made the arguably the biggest mistake of the game, but the move that I think most people got most people really excited about the game too. The best move here, according to analysis and post review, was the move knight d to e7. To avoid tactics potentially on the knight here, as white just has a lot of threats. So after knight d to e7, white can play knight takes c6, and after queen takes d2 with check, bishop takes d2, knight takes c6, knight d5. A slight edge here is considered for white with the potential win of the bishop pair, but it would have been a game with a very very small pool if Kramnik had the patience and the energy to really grind home a small edge. Maybe he could do that for a while, and maybe Aronian didn't like that idea. But in any case, Aronian made the decision to play knight takes c3 rather than knight d to e7, as we just looked at, and sacrifice the queen for a larger amount of material. Bishop takes d8, knight takes d1, bishop takes c7. He takes back, and after we get a massive trade of pieces, a whole bunch of weird tactics happening, we eventually evaluate a position where Aronian has 3 pieces for the queen, but white, being Kramnik, also has 2 pawns for it. These kind of positions always have been a lot of fun for me to analyze and play myself, and I have a whole video series about these types of positions over on our main site on Chess.com, so you can go check that out. It's called Unbalanced Material, and then lots of subtitles based on the particular video. Over 10 videos I did in the series, and the basic theme of these types of positions is that the initiative and the ability to create threats slash squelching your opponent's initiative and their ability to create threats are really what dictate the outcome of the game, not necessarily the point value. If we evaluate the points, we see that white is technically up 2 points. A queen and 2 pawns is 11 versus 3 pieces, which is 9. But you'll see that both players really understood that sort of thing doesn't really matter here, those dogmatic laws of the values of pieces, and it's something that you can really take as a piece of advice into your own games when you're evaluating these positions. Kramnik knows that he needs to get his pawns rolling and keep pressure and create threats slash keep black's pieces from being fully coordinated to win. Has nothing to do with the points. And Aronian knows that he needs his pieces to coordinate well together and potentially create threats against white's king, or he's not going to have a chance to win this game. And the way both players played this was really exciting over the next few moves. He plays rook e1, which of course has the threat of eliminating the defender of the knight. Black doesn't want that. Gains a tempo on the queen. Plays the move g5, which is a nice aggressive move, creating space for the king and also potentially controlling a critical square that maybe he wants to land a knight or bishop on. After c3, bishop c5, some natural moves are made. According to a different analysis, people liked the idea of Kramnik being more aggressive to open up black's king, but Kramnik, I think, had an approach to kind of squelch away black's initiative with the 3 pieces and hopefully simplify the position. And he does so with a combination that I believe he started right here with this exclamaviach move b3. Look at this move. He plays b3, willingly opening up his king and seemingly creating a ton of targets for black's pieces. This looks really nuts, but he has a move planned. You can pause your video if you want to find it if you haven't seen the game. Rook to e8, exclam, brilliant move. The idea is that I'm giving back, technically in terms of points, if you can imagine me using, Dr. Evil quotation fingers right now, I'm giving away points, quote unquote, with a rook being worth 5 and a bishop being worth 3, but I'm actually really doing a great job to kill Black's initiative. And now the rook and 2 pieces are technically better than Black's previous 3 pieces, but you have a much harder time creating threats against my king. Not only that, but also these 2 pawns are going to start rolling. And you'll see that Aronian was now not able to really coordinate his pieces in an effort to either A, create threats, or B, stop White from creating threats. And it's that kind of knowledge that the initiative is the most important thing in an unbalanced material position that separates the men from the boys. So you can really take a note, take a page out of Kramnik's book with this brilliant rook to e8 exclamaviyach move. Now you'll see that over the next few moves, Aronian was on the defensive, trying desperately not to lose more material as his knight and bishop and rook are not as well coordinated as he would like. And Kramnik starts rolling the pawns. The rest is almost history as these pawns just got out of control. Kramnik eventually forced Aronian to give back a certain amount of material, and though the game was stopped here, it would have been an easy finish with Kramnik maintaining control over this diagonal, followed by an eventual repositioning of the king in such a way that creates a zugzwang. Several threats will exist there, including the idea of just giving up the queen for the rook, followed by winning this knight and queening the c-pawn. So this game was a lot of fun, and when it ended in this final climax position, I think everyone who watched it was pretty excited. I enjoyed it. It gives me a chance to talk about an unbalanced material position. You know I love those, and you can check out the video series on the main site if you want to. And I hope you enjoyed this news segment today. Last thing I'm going to say, even though we're at the end of the video here, you can't see my face anymore, I want to remind everybody that International Master / GM-elect Conrad Holt won our 4th Blitz Chess Deathmatch on Chess.com. May's Deathmatch is going to feature George and GM Georgi Kachishvili versus Internet Blitz legend Jorge Samor Hasborn. And that's going to be on Sunday, May 20th. You can check that out. And hope everybody is enjoying our YouTube channel. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you around on Chess.com.